Do you ever feel like you keep thinking about your problems, but nothing actually changes? Do you replay the same worries, the same conversations, the same what ifs, but yet you still end up stuck? If that sounds like you, I'm going to tell you about 4 hidden blockers that we all face and how you can start shifting them. Most of us try to solve our problems by thinking more about them. We go over every angle, we analyze, replay memories, imagine the worst case scenario over and over again. And we criticize ourselves for not doing enough. But from a psychological perspective, that is usually the point where the problem actually gets worse and not necessarily better. Because when you pull a problem apart, there are always 4 things happening underneath the surface, and every one of them can keep you stuck in its own way. Blocker 1 is getting tangled in your thoughts. So all the worrying, the replaying, the self-criticism, your assumptions. Your mind tries to think its way out, but ends up dragging you deeper in. Blocker 2 is just struggling against your feelings. You feel something uncomfortable, and your first reaction is to fight it. Numb it, avoid it, or just push it away. Number 3 are life-draining actions. So these are the habits that give short-term relief, but long-term pain. Think about doom scrolling, procrastination, overworking, just general avoidance. There's temporary comfort, but long-term cost. And number 4 are avoiding challenging situations. So the conversations you keep putting off, the tasks you dodge, the parts of life you quietly shrink away from. When any of these 4 show up, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. Your mind will convince you that these are all reasonable responses to the problem because you are stuck inside the problem and not able to view it from the outside or being above or around it. The thing that nobody teaches us is that you cannot think your way out of these loops because the problem is not the actual problem. The actual problem is how you relate to your thoughts, feelings, and habits when the problem shows up. In other words, trying to control your inner world is like trying to fix a leaking roof by repainting the ceiling. It looks like effort, but nothing's actually changing. A better way forward is something called psychological flexibility. Instead of wrestling with your thoughts, you learn to unhook from them. Instead of fighting against your feelings, you learn how to make room for them. And instead of shrinking away from challenges, you learn how to act from your values, even when doubt or discomfort shows up along the way. Because when you stop getting tangled in the thoughts, stop fighting the feelings, stop feeding the draining habits, and stop avoiding situations, you start to get some freedom back of how to respond. You can see situations more clearly, and you can do something useful with it that points towards the direction of life that you want to go in. If you want practical tools for unhooking from your mind and moving forward with clarity, follow along here. I'll show you how to build the skill set that makes change realistic and not overwhelming.